Hello, friend. This is Ryan Hicks of TalkToProfit.com. Today I want to talk to you about how love thinks no evil and how this is a spiritual key to greater success. 1 Corinthians chapter 13 talks about love. Now, in the King James Version, it says charity. And many people misunderstand because they think of charity in the way we use it today as giving of something. But in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 3, it starts out by saying, "And though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned, and have not charity, it profiteth me nothing." So charity is obviously not talking about giving, because he says, even if I give all my goods to feed the poor, if I don't have charity, so obviously the giving is not the charity. The charity here is love. And maybe in our understanding, it could even be a greater love of God's divine love flowing through our hearts, the love of God that's shed abroad in our hearts. And if we really have that love, you can give all you want, but that doesn't mean you have that love in you. And in this passage in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, it says, "Charity suffereth long, and is kind. Charity envieth not. Charity vaunteth not itself, is not puffed up, doth not behave itself unseemly, seeketh not her own, is not easily provoked, thinketh no evil." And that's what I really want to focus on, is that thinketh no evil part. Because this is something that can really plague you in life. You can see something from your perspective and interpret somebody's actions as being evil. Interpret them as having some malicious motive behind it. And yet be completely wrong. And I know in my own life, I've made this mistake before, where I thought somebody did something. And then I realized later, I was completely mistaken. I completely misread the situation. And that was a long time ago when I used to fall into this pattern, but I didn't have the wisdom to stop, seek the wisdom of God, and try to approach the situation with charity, with God's divine love and compassion for those people, trying to see it from their perspective. Maybe I'm misunderstanding the situation. Maybe I'm completely misreading this and their intention is pure. Maybe the outcome is not perfect, but maybe their intention is pure, and I don't know. Now, some people may object and say, well, but that makes you naive. You'll just be tricked by everybody. No, you're not being tricked. You're not a fool. This thinking no evil is not about being a complete idiot and just saying everything is good when it's not. It's not about calling evil good. It is about recognizing the good in people and looking for the good, expecting better, expecting the good. Because one of the things that's very important is that when you expect the best, instead of looking for the worst, you actually start to receive more of that. And the people in your life who otherwise may have been doing wrong will start to be elevated to a higher level of living, and they'll live in a better way. And those who won't, those who are just dead set in their ways, will leave your life, leave you in peace, and you'll be free from them, and then go on and do whatever they want. But this is very important, to think this way, to have a life that is looking for the good, expecting the best in people, believing for the best. This is not a life where you're going to be tricked and deceived all the time because you're expecting the best. Because expecting the best and believing for goodness does not mean that you are a fool, does not mean you get tricked, does not mean you have no wisdom. It is the exact opposite. You have a lot of wisdom, tremendous amounts of wisdom. And you're wise enough to know that many people are just flailing around in life, aimlessly going from place to place. They don't have any real plan or purpose. They're not trying to do wrong. They are just not renewed in their minds. And when you can have a compassionate look toward them and observe what's going on in a different level, maybe even a higher level, from God's level, see things through God's eyes. You know, one of the things I prayed when I first got saved, first started following Jesus, was, God, let me see people through your eyes. Because I didn't want to be a person going around judging people. And, you know, Jesus talked about righteous judgment, but most judgment that humans make is not righteous because you don't have enough information. You have a very limited amount of information to go on, a lot of it based on the senses, and it might not even be accurate the way you're interpreting it. This is one of the reasons why it's so foolish to be going around judging everyone because you don't have enough information to make those judgments. Not that you can't judge a righteous judgment, but a righteous judgment is very different from the average judgment that people are making. And so I always prayed this. God, let me see people through your eyes. And what that did was open up the world to me to see people with love and compassion for them, even when I thought they were wrong personally. And it brought so many different experiences in my life than the ones I had previously, where people would apologize to me who never apologized to anybody. And for things I didn't even notice because I was so focused on seeing things through God's eyes and seeing the good in people, seeing that divine spark in them, that things they meant for harm didn't even harm me. It affected me zero. And that's one of the benefits of this. When you're not thinking evil, you're not expecting evil, you're not going around looking for it and trying to find it under every corner and trying to fault find. There are actual things people might intend for harm for you that will have no effect on you at all. As the scripture says, no plague shall come nigh my dwelling. No evil shall befall me. Psalm chapter 91. That should be your life. But to get that kind of life, you have to do the things in a way that reap that kind of a life. You can't go around judging and criticizing and critiquing everybody's actions all the time and get the life that no evil befalls them. Because your life is focused on, it is attracting more evil. Our lives shouldn't be focused on evil, it should be focused on the good. And if there's people around you and you just can't find anything good about them, focus on God. Stop even giving any time to focus on them at all. Don't think any evil. Don't think any evil about other people. Stop worrying and focusing about the evils of the world. Now, this does not mean you don't do anything to help people in bad situations. But you stop giving any focus to those evils. You stop giving any focus to people who are misbehaving. You start focusing on the good. And this is vitally important for your success in life. The person who is focusing on the good, who's expecting the best, gets better results in life. And I know the cynical person is going to say, as I've already mentioned, well, you're going to get taken advantage of. No, you won't. Because in this looking for the good, in this expecting the best, you have a tremendous amount of wisdom. And you're not going to fall for things that are obviously errors and obviously wrong. See, not thinking evil does not mean you go along with everything that comes your way. That would be foolish. It means you look for the good in all things. It means you expect the best. And if something is not good and not the best, you immediately turn from it. You don't give a second thought to it. You don't waste your time pondering what somebody's motives were. You just move on to the next good thing. And you also, very importantly, give those people the proverbial benefit of the doubt. That maybe you're misreading the situation. Maybe you misunderstood their intentions. And you just expect the best, you expect the good, you believe good for them, and you move on. Now, I can tell you a number of other examples in my life, but I'll give you one example of this person who was very negative. Very negative. Now, I attract good people in my life, but I know when I attract somebody who is not appearing good, who is doing a lot of negativity, that is someone for me to help and teach. That is someone for me to believe God for. Because it's very rare that I get those people in the first place, but when I do, I know what's going on there. This is somebody I need to be helping. And so this individual is super negative, critiquing and criticizing and things like that. Now, this does not bother me. I couldn't care less. The opinions of men don't matter to me. I would love it if people liked me, but if they don't, I don't care. I have way better things to do, and I'll focus on the people who do like me and do appreciate the valuable information I am sowing into their lives. But this individual was very negative. Now, their lives were very bad because they were so negative. They just kept attracting negative, doom and gloom nonsense over and over again. And I just kept approaching them with love. They would say something nasty, leave a nasty comment or something, and I approached them with love and told them the right way to be on. They would critique that and be mad about that, saying, I don't understand and this and that, and I would just give them more of the love of God. Expected the best for them, believed for the best for them. And you know what happened? Very shortly, they would start responding with positive things. With, this actually works. I'm amazed that this worked for me. Thank you for posting this. Thank you for teaching this. This is really helping. And this is one of those things where you have to be expecting the best. Many people would approach that kind of situation by just saying, oh, this is a troll, or oh, this person's so evil and nasty. And they would still have that person in the same position they're in. Listen, I don't care if somebody making comments about me, who cares? But I care the fact they're in that situation in the first place, because somebody doing that is not happy with their lives. A happy person, a successful person, isn't going around posting nasty comments everywhere. That's a miserable person. I don't want anyone to be miserable. I don't want people to come to the truth that I'm presenting them and walk away not taking action on any of it. So I take that as a challenge to bless this person, to speak life into them, to bless them, and to really bring about the best in their lives and really help them to see the goodness of God that is available freely to them. But I couldn't do that if I was thinking evil. I couldn't do that if I was expecting the worst from them. I couldn't do that if, because of their track record of nastiness, if I just said, well, you know, here's another nasty comment from them, never would have got anywhere. But by the love of God, by the grace of God, they started to make changes and implement the things I was saying, even though they didn't agree with them, at least at first, and they started to get a better life. And so now, they're completely in, they're 100% in, and they are a positive individual. And they are getting the best life possible. And it just gets better and better each and every day. Going from basically being a troll with nasty comments and hateful comments to being somebody positive and loving and overflowing in the grace and love of God. This is why it's so important that we expect the best, that we look for the best, that we try to stir up the best in people. Because we're not seeing the negative. We're not looking for evil. We're not thinking evil. We're just believing God for the goodness of God in their lives, believing God for the goodness of God in our lives, and we are overflowing that everywhere we go. We're shedding that light. We're spreading that light abroad. And watch as it affects the lives of many. My friend, I pray this is a blessing for you. May God bless you richly.